Well, most of us have experienced the world of the Texas Renaissance Festival. The food, the costumes, the crafts, and if you've been, chances are you've wondered where all those clothes and crafts come from. You might be surprised because most of them are made just steps away from where most of the vendors live. KAGS HD News reporter Jenny Walsh shows us that neighborhood and introduces us to some neighbors who choose to call Ren Fair drive home.
I've already prepped this clay.
Potter John Coyner has lived in a lot of places over the years.
My father was in the Navy. I grew up traveling my whole life. And so as I got older, I realized that's what I wanted to continue to do.
So John needed to find a way to do the two things he loves most, travel and make ceramics.
By doing Renaissance fairs, they were on for half the year, and the other half of the year I could be off and traveling and exploring.
So here's where John lives for that half a year, on a plot of land just a stone's throw away from the festival where he has a couple booths.
I bought this piece of property not really intending to live here.
But the ambiance of Ren Fair Drive lured John in.
It's great. So much so that most people, we prefer not to have to leave the street and deal with the rest of the world that's out here.
And most of the people who live in this community don't have to leave the street, using the land's resources to survive. A handful of people who live on Ren Fair live off the grid, meaning they use solar panels for electricity and propane tanks to cook. And that's something a lot of people I've talked to today are striving for, including John's neighbors and good friends, Allie and Bryan.
Everyone here wants to be independent of mainstream society.
The owner, George, years ago when he first bought the property, set this whole road up so that us Rennies could buy land here and set up our own little community.
And that's just what it is, a place for like-minded creative artists to set up shop and make their craft.
It's a very unique community because everybody's creative in one form or another. And you can be social, or you can be a hermit and hide away.
A place to call home for Rennies who live on the road that most never want to leave. Jenny Walsh, KAGS HD News.
And you know, Chris, what's really interesting about these Rennies is that they get their start traveling around different Renaissance festivals all over the country and living out of tents at each one since, you know, they have to move every couple months.
It's definitely an interesting way to live. I mean, it's a culture in and of itself, it seems like, with moving back and forth.